through my regular salary in Singapore, and in 3 years, I have finally hit a net worth of $100,000. But this could not be further from the truth. Hey everyone, it's Misosaurus, or Miso for short, and welcome to the channel. And as the title says, I am currently worth $100,000 in 2024. While this isn't necessarily a huge sum, it isn't a small amount either. So what I will be covering is an overview of the lessons and mindsets I've gained along the way. What I won't be covering is the exact steps I've taken. Perhaps I'd save that for another video. So, as you continue watching, I hope it gives you a little perspective to take or leave as you see fit, not forgetting that personal finance is a personal journey, not a competition. So whether you're saving for your first big milestone, or you're just here for the relatable struggles, I hope this video leaves you with something valuable. So without further ado, let's move on to So for context, I am a Singaporean male in my late 20s with a bachelor's degree, and I'm currently living with my parents aged 60 and above in a fully paid off home. I'm also a full-time salaried worker for around 3 years with a near median level income, and my father and myself are the breadwinners of the family for now. And this is also related to my parents having limited financial knowledge, resulting in outstanding debts, no private medical insurance, no retirement plan, and living paycheck to paycheck. So it isn't a far-fetched to say that I've got a long way to go before I can sustainably provide for them. And let's face it, it can be rather expensive to live in Singapore. And if you're like me, you would have probably wrestled between allocating more of my resources for them rather than myself. So these are the lessons and reflections I've come to the conclusion about. Reflection 1. The buck stops with me. Despite the challenges my family face, my parents gave everything to raise me. Now that I'm older and I have a little more resources, it is my job to break the cycle of dependency, so my future dependents don't face the same struggles as me. So I live by 3 key principles: treating myself as a separate entity from the family. This doesn't mean abandoning my family. Why would I, and how could I? It's about prioritizing my well-being so that I can grow and become even more capable. Honestly, by focusing on myself, I'll be in a much stronger position to help, rather than risking my own financial security by constantly sacrificing it. Planning for contingencies. Life is unpredictable. Emergencies, health issues, and changes are bound to happen. While I work towards my goals, I keep my resources flexible, ready to help when needed. At the same time, I make sure to set aside emergency funds and prepare for different scenarios. This isn't just about protecting my finances, but also ensuring peace of mind for myself and my loved ones, knowing I've planned for the unexpected. Living prudently. This means clearly defining my wants and needs and preventing lifestyle creep no matter how much I earn, so that I unconsciously make smarter decisions by investing in tomorrow and not just buying random stuff I don't need. Reflection 2. Clarity drives change. When you have a dozen problems thrown at you, everything feels urgent and suddenly, it's like trying to untangle wires, and instead of figuring out where the knots are, we plug them anyway hoping for the best. This feeds into an all too common urge to jump straight into solutioning. Sure, it can feel productive, but eventually the flood will still come. Here's the thing, clarity doesn't just make the solution easier, it makes them better, more targeted, and increases your probability of success. So yes, for me it could be drafting simple slides to break it all down into what exactly is the problem, which one do I tackle first, am I solving for the right thing. But even with all the material and the most compelling presentation prepared, people won't open up about difficult topics until they are truly ready. Which brings me to my next point, that openness breeds openness. Talking about things like money or medical bills can feel impossible. Maybe it's because it's rarely talked about growing up, I don't know. But what worked for me is dropping little hints over time, and instead of jumping in with, let's talk finances, I'd casually mention things like, oh, there's this new credit card deal, or did you see the stock market? Recently I made a little bit here and lost a bit there, all of which could bridge into new conversations surrounding the topic, and slowly it made the topic feel less intimidating for my parents and myself. And I think it's because I was open with some of my setbacks and was honest about where I was struggling and what I'm doing about it. And when I wanted to start the discussion, I always made it clear that I was confronting the issues and not criticizing them. That ultimately it was our shared goal to improve our circumstances, not to point fingers. It's proof that a little patience and vulnerability can go a long way. Reflection 3. Systemizing your budget. As James Clear wisely said in Atomic Habits, I highly recommend you give it a read. He says, "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." And this really transformed how I thought about budgeting. Willpower alone isn't sustainable, but building a structure to it is. Think of it as setting your financial autopilot. Once it's set up, it keeps running with minimal effort. A well-designed system removes the guesswork and mental load of budgeting, letting your money work quietly in the background while you focus on what matters most. I started by scheduling periodic transfers into designated accounts following the pay yourself first principle, where I allocate a portion of my income to savings, investments, or emergency funds before spending. Understanding a level of risk and reward that you are comfortable with. I don't believe this is a hard science, but rather an evolving process of trial and error. It took a while, but I found I tend to sit somewhere in the middle, so I invest in a mix of medium to high risk assets. That being said, the key is to focus on investing in assets you understand and are comfortable in terms of risk. Ultimately, it should align with your long-term goals. It's not just about following trends, but it's also about building a portfolio that works for you. If you're just starting out investing and you would like to find out more about asset classes, you can read the article that I've written in the link below. And finally, my last reflection: be patient with yourself. As cliche as it sounds, progress takes time. Comparison with others can quietly steal your happiness, making you feel like you're falling much behind. But their path isn't yours. With limited time and energy every day, it's much better to focus on your next milestone and celebrate your wins, no matter how small. Of course, not overly. Still, let's be real. Staying consistent isn't always exciting. It's repetitive, it's quiet, and often it feels like you're not moving at all. But that's where the real work happens. As Denzel Washington said during his 2017 NAACP Image Award speech, without commitment, you'll never start. But more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. It will feel mundane, but it's what transforms effort into results. So stay the course, trust the process, and remember, every small step you take adds up towards something meaningful over time. And that wraps up my journey to 100k net worth. If you have any thoughts, questions, or even your own experiences to share, do drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and until next time, bye.